Friends and viewers, good day. Night by Elie Wiesel. So, night is basically, it's not necessarily a memoir, neither it is a novel or nor a play, but this we can say this is a mixture of testimony, deposition, and emotional truth telling render it similar to works in the memoir genre. It is clear that Eliezer is meant to serve to a great extent as author Elie Wiesel stand-in and representative. Minor details have been altered. So, Night is narrated by Eliezer, a Jewish teenager who, when the memoir begins, lived in his hometown of Sigit in Hungarian Transylvania. Eliezer studies the Torah, the first 5 books of the Old Testament, and the Kabbalah, a doctrine of Jewish mysticism. His instruction is cut short, however, when his teacher, Moshe the Beadle, is deported. In a few months, Moshe returns telling a horrifying tale. The Gestapo, the German secret police force, took charge of his train, led everyone into the woods, and systematically butchered them. Nobody believes Moshe, who is taken for a lunatic. In the spring of 1944, the Nazis occupy Hungary. Not long afterward, a series of increasingly repressive measures are passed, and the Jews of the Eliezer's town are forced into small ghettos within Sigit. Soon they are herded into cattle's cars, and a nightmarish journey ensues. After days and nights crammed into the car, exhausted and near starvation, the passenger arrives at Birkenau, the gateway to Auschwitz. Upon his arrival in Birkenau, Eliezer and his father are separated from his mother and sisters, whom they never see again. In the first of many selections that Eliezer describes in the memoir, the Jews are evaluated to determine whether they should be killed immediately or put to work. Eliezer and his father seem to pass the evaluation, but before they are brought to the prisoners' barrack, they stumble upon the open pit furnaces where the Nazis are burning babies by the truckload. The Jewish arrivals are stripped, shaved, disinfected, and treated with almost unimaginable cruelty. Eventually, their captors march them from the Birkenau to the man camp Auschwitz. They eventually arrive in Buna, a work camp where Eliezer is put to work in electric fitting factory under slave labor conditions, severely malnourished and decimated by the frequent selection. The Jews take solace in caring for each other in religion and in Zionism, a movement favoring the establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine. Considered the Holy Land, in the camp, the Jews are subject to beating and repeated humiliations. A vicious foreman forces Eliezer to give him his gold tooth, which is pried out of his mouth with a rusty spoon. The prisoners are forced to watch the hanging of fellow prisoner in the camp courtyard. On one occasion, the Gestapo even hanged a small child who had been associated with some rebels within Buna. Because of the horrific conditions in the camp and ever-present danger of death, Many of the prisoners themselves begin to slide into cruelty. Concerned only with the personal survival, sons begin to abandon and abuse their fathers. Eliezer himself began to lose his humanity and his faith both in God and in people around him. After months in the camp, Eliezer undergoes an operation of a foot injury. While he is in the infirmary, however, the Nazis decide to evacuate the camp because the Russians are advancing the camp because the Russians are advancing and are on the verge of liberating Buna. In the middle of the snowstorm, the prisoners begin a death march. They are forced to run for more than 50 miles to Gliwitz concentration camp. Many die of exposure to the harsh weather and exhaustion. At Gliwitz, the prisoners are herded into cattle cars once again. They begin another deadly journey. 100 Jews board the car, but only 12 remain alive. When the train reaches the concentration camp, Buchenwald, throughout the ordeal, Eliezer and his father help each other to survive by means of mutual support and concern. In Buchenwald, however, Eliezer's father dies of dysentery and physical abuse. Eliezer survives in an empty shell of a man until April 11, 1945, the day that the American army liberates their camp. So this is the memoir of the Eliezer by Elie Wiesel. Elie Wiesel literary memoir. Now it is a harrowing account of a Jewish teenager's experiences in Nazi concentration camp during World War II, structured around horrifying semi-autobiographical events from Wiesel's life. The first-person narrative explored the impact of those events on its protagonist, Eliezer, who loses both his innocence and faith in God and human being. As the work opened, Eliezer's a devout Jew living in a devout community hears of Nazis' atrocities from Moshe the Beadle. Both Eliezer and community are unwilling to believe that human being might be so cruel or that God would permit such things to occur. Soon in the inciting incident, however, they begin to understand the truth. The Germans move into Sighet, where Jewish valuables are seized, community leaders are arrested, and Jewish men and women are forced to wear yellow stars, being forced into the barbed wire ghettos. As the rising action unfolds, Eliezer struggles to maintain his faith in both God and human being. Deportation begins, and Jews are loaded into train cars bound for Auschwitz. The doors are nailed shut, the cars are hot, and the prisoners suffer from thirst. They begin to lose concern and compassion for each other, a point gaining symbolic emphasis when the prisoner gag and beat Madame Seachers for her terrified scream that a furnace awaits them. During the trip, Eliezer sees the chimney and furnace of the Birkenau, smells the odor of burning flesh, and is subject to selection by Dr. Mengele. When the prisoner approached a pit of burning bodies, they wept and recite the Kaddish, the Jewish prayer for the dead. Eliezer's father admits doubt about human beings, saying that humanity is non-existent. Eliezer revealed that he is losing faith in God. He struggles with the prayer and cannot understand what he has to thank God for. So Eliezer's internal conflict as the rising action continues, grows. He and his father are forced to endure horrific conditions in the camp. They are dehumanized, stripped, assigned prisoners' uniform, moved to Buna, where they endure unimaginable cruelties, including unprovoked beating at the hands of the Kapu, They witness people being shot of sneaking food and see a child hang for having been a servant to a resistance member. Eliezer, as he reflects on that hanging, openly admit his lose of faith, just God, he thinks. So this is the memoir, the story of Eliezer, and this memoir, I hope you will go through this memoir and read those atrocities done by the Nazis on those innocent people. Thank you.